So the first part of the key is to design the promise. Then, what is the price to pay? I'm telling you, the price will be easy. Anybody in my audience can pay, no matter where you are, where you come from. Color doesn't matter, religion doesn't matter, where you grew up doesn't matter, circumstances don't matter. I'm telling you, if you'll make the promise of the future clear for yourself, the things you want, the places you want to go, the things you want to have, the person you want to become, the skills you want, the homes you want, the future you want, the friends you want, all of the values of life that you could possibly want. If you'll make that clear, make those lists, and be serious about it, I promise you it's an easy price to pay. Anybody can pay it. And the best advice I can give you is, if I can do it, you can do it. Farm boy from Idaho, raised in obscurity. I changed my life, turned it upside down, turned it all around, found economics, found future, found promise. And if I can do it, you can do it. So start setting your goals and see if you can't get a better excitement going for the things you want to accomplish for the future. One of the major reasons for setting goals is for what they make of you in achieving them. My teacher advised me when I first got started at age 25. He said, Jim, why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? He said, it's got a nice ring to it. You know, enough zeros to impress your accountant. And he said, I'm here to help you. You're only 25 years old. You've been to 1 year of college. You've got a beautiful family, every reason to do it. Why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? And he said, here's why. And I thought, he doesn't need to teach me why. Wouldn't it be nice to have $1 million? He said, no, then you'll miss it. He said, here's why. For what it will make of you to achieve it. I'm telling you, that statement changed my life. Set the kind of goals that will make something of you to achieve them. He said, now, once you become a millionaire, what's important is not the money. I thought, that's kind of strange, teacher. He said, honest, it isn't important. He said, you could just give the money away. Now, I did better than that. I lost it all. By the time I was 31, I was a millionaire. By the time I was 33, I was broke. And I'll tell you a little bit about that story later. But when I lost all my money, guess what? I found out Mr. Shoaff was right. What was valuable was not the money. What was valuable was what I became to earn the money. The skills I had, the knowledge I had about the marketplace, the values that I had going for me. They were more valuable than the money. And here's an important statement to remember. It's not what you get that makes you valuable. It's what you become.
Dopamine is the feeling that you found something you're looking for, or that you accomplished something you set out to accomplish. So you know that feeling you get when you cross something off your to-do list? That's dopamine. It feels awesome. You know when you have a goal to hit and you achieve that goal, you're like, yes! You feel like you won something, right? That's dopamine. The whole purpose of dopamine is to make sure that we get stuff done, right? The historical reason for dopamine, we would never eat if we only waited to get until we got hungry, because there's no guarantee that we would find food. So dopamine exists to help us go looking for food. We get dopamine when we eat, which is one of the reasons we like eating. And so when you see something that reminds you of something that feels good, we want to do the behavior that helps us get that feeling, right? So let's say you're out there going for a walk and you see an apple tree in the distance. You get a small hit of dopamine. And then what it does is it focuses us on our goals. And
this one's so key. Listen up.
Start walking towards the apple tree. And as the apple tree starts to get a little bigger, we feel like we're making progress. You get another little shot of dopamine and another little shot of dopamine until you get to the tree and you're like, yes! Okay? This is why we're told you must write down your goals. Your goals must be tangible. There's a biological reason for that. We're very, very visually oriented animals. You have to be able to see the goal for it to biologically stay focused, right? If you don't write down your goals, if you can't see your goals, it's very hard to get motivated, to get inspired. For example, think about corporate visions, right? A corporate vision has to be something we can see, right? That's why it's called a vision. You can see it, right? To be the biggest, most respected, to be the fastest growing are not visions. They're nothing, right? What does that even look like? Respected by whom? Your mother? Yourself? Your friends? Your shareholders? Who knows? What's the metric? Dunno. It's amorphous, doesn't motivate us. Just like I can't tell you, you will get a bonus if you achieve more. You're going to ask me, how much more? I'm going to say, more. doesn't work. You need a tangible goal. You need a tangible goal, right? Here's a great vision. Martin Luther King, I have a dream.
Another minute or two and we'll get going. Just want to give people the option of finding the link because things got a little mixed up. So give me a couple minutes and we'll get going.
That one day, little black children, little white children will play on the playground together and hold hands together. We can imagine that. We can set our sights on that. And every time we achieve a goal and achieve a metric and achieve a milestone that makes us feel like we're making progress to the vision we can see, we keep going and going and going until we achieve something remarkable. You have to be able to see it. Dopamine. Like I said, dopamine is the feeling you get.
Tell your kid, here's an impossible thing. Why don't you go out and fail? You say, here's something worth going after. Here's a step you could take that would push you beyond where you are, but that you also have a reasonably high probability of succeeding at. Right? They call that
within a time frame.
Within some time.
All right, guys, how we doing? Happy Friday. I hope everybody had a fantastic week of trading, of happiness, found some things to do for yourself. Yes, we work on personal development. Yes, we trade. And yes, we do these things for ourselves. But it's probably not what our true passion is, right? And finding and feeding that passion is something that we need to do every single day. And, you know, maybe you have multiple passions. For me, I have a few. I love ceramics. I love just getting out in nature. I got a dog and I love spending time with him. So there are a lot of things that I can use as fuel builders, as passion builders, as excitement builders, as ways for me to find joy in what I'm doing every single day. And it's something that everybody needs. And what they were talking about in that audio where dopamine is the true fuel that gets us to do the things that we need to do and the things that we like to do. Okay, there's a study that went out where a bunch of scientists, right? They studied all these mice, okay, and these mice were they had these neurological systems implanted on top of their head so that it limited their ability to receive dopamine. And what that test did was to show how dopamine drives our urges. It drives our tasks. It drives what we do on a daily basis. And what they discovered was that they were they were basically helmets, right? They tapped into the neurological pathways in their brain and it cut off the dopamine. And what happened was these mice lacked the desire to live. Okay, they stopped eating, they stopped drinking water, they stopped moving, they stopped doing like various things that are needed to survive. And then they were taking these things away. Some mice died, some didn't. But the thing was that they stopped the desire to do anything in their lives. And what happened was they did this whole test for a couple weeks, and then they planted a box inside this maze that these mice were stuck in, right? So in order for them to get to this spot where this box was kind of protruded out of the wall, they needed to find their way to get to it, okay? And even though their dopamine receptors were taken away from them, this box being filled with sugar raised these mice's ability and desire to continue to act because it had a benefit from poking their head into this box. Okay, and the whole thing was that even if you don't have dopamine, you can still enjoy, like, have pleasure from things, but you're not going to have the drive to go there. Okay, so that's a big thing when it comes to developing new habits. Okay, because if we are starting something new, if there is no if there's nothing about that habit that brings on happiness, that brings on joy, that brings on the desire to continue said habit, it's not going to continue. Even if the mouse is given a box of sugar that gives him happiness without the drive of dopamine to get him to that point in his maze, he's not going to go there, right? So we need to enjoy the journey towards the goal. The box of sugar is the goal, right? That's what we truly want. But if we're doing all these things to get there that don't make us happy, it's not going to happen, right? We're not going to get there. But if we are continually taking action in ways that develops our habits, develops our enjoyment in what we're doing every single day, we will get to that point. But if we don't enjoy the journey, the end goal is just, it's a fantasy, it's a dream, it's nothing that you could possibly imagine, simply because you're not enjoying the path to get there. Humans need reward. Humans need dopamine. They need things to reinforce the reason why they're doing the things that they're doing, or else they're just not going to work out. You're not going to get to the end goal if you're not enjoying what you're doing. So it's important for us, especially in our daily habits, when we're starting something new, that we enjoy it in some fashion. Okay. For me, I grew up hating, absolutely despising reading. I could not comprehend a single page that you forced me to read. Okay. It was the worst thing you could ever do to me. And I went about 15, 16 years only having read one full book cover to cover. And that might be an unusual thing for you to hear. It might be a regular thing for you to hear. But in the normalcy of successful people, that is ridiculous. Okay. And it was the only reason that happened was because I wasn't getting any rewards from the books that I was reading. Okay. I was forced to read Tom Sawyer and the Odyssey and all of these crazy books that have a lot of value, but the value is based off of analogies and similes and having the mental capacity to figure out what's going on and then find out the meaning behind it, right? It wasn't straightforward. You had to kind of dig deep into understanding the true meaning of these books. And it's so crazy that these things can easily deter you, right? I was so against reading simply because I was forced into these books that I didn't get any value from, or it was just over my reading ability. It was over the comprehension of my reading ability, so it was too much. I couldn't really read between the lines and truly understand what I was reading. Okay. And it's really important because I wrote off reading for like 10 years simply because I was given these books and I was taught to read these books and that they were a requirement, right? It's not something that I enjoy. It's a requirement. That's how it was presented. It's not something like, hey, here's a really cool book that I think you'll really love. You should try it out. It was, no, you need to read this book 20 pages by tomorrow or else you're going to fail. And it was like, dude, that's not the proper way to bring somebody into a habit or a task or an assignment that they're supposed to enjoy, right? It's not the way to do things. And so it's the same thing with anything that you incorporate into your daily habits. You need to make sure that, let's say you're me and you don't enjoy reading, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start every single morning with a little bit of reading something that I enjoy, right? Not some fantasy book, but something that's real, something that has true information that can help me in my personal development pursuit, my career pursuit. And that's what truly develops the persistence is doing things that you love or doing things that you don't necessarily like doing, but finding a way to enjoy it, making it short, doing a little bit here, a little bit there, not overwhelming yourself with these tasks that you don't enjoy. Okay. Because it's not going to be something that you enjoy every time, especially in this field, trading, being on the computer all day, reading and growing and getting into classes. I don't like being in front of technology very much. Okay. So I really like being in nature, being outside, enjoying what Mother Nature has gifted us. And so I had to start slow. I had to do a little bit here, a little bit there for weeks and weeks, for months and months. It took me over 6 months to get to the point where I'm actually able to enjoy reading 2 hours in the morning. You talked to me 10 years ago, I would have laughed in your face for 3 hours straight if you told me that I was going to love reading. Like, it's just so crazy. Um, Hold on one sec. Let me get this Cavish guy out of here. 19 years old, depressed from college and absolutely not enjoying it. So we're gonna mark that up as a scam, and we're gonna hide him. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm praying for Cavish. I hope that he is doing a lot better, finds some solution, or finds a way to make money outside of scamming people. I'm not gonna make assumptions, but who knows, right? So we're going to go on with the call. So developing persistence has a lot to do with enjoyment. Okay, we need to enjoy what we want to do. There are 4 simple steps to developing persistence. Okay, that first step, the most important step, the one step that you will not grow from, you will not grow unless you have this step. Okay, so we need to write this down. Have your pens, papers ready. Let's get this going. Okay, I get you. I get you. Sorry, I started like 12 alarms at this time to make sure I do something. So I need to just change the times for that. I know it's a scam, simply because it's some random person commenting on a random show about positive reinforcement or personal development. If you have somebody coming in and asking you for things in calls like this, it's because they assume you're a religious person or a giving person because you're educating in these fashions or in the way of personal development. So they're trying to prey on your good heart. And it's so easy it used to be so easy for me to get like conned and that kind of stuff. Like, I would give $50 here, give $20 there, end up giving $1,000 there. It happens. But through learning the hard way, I figured out what works or not. Well, I'm gonna go on with the call, Cavish. If you have something that you need to say, I welcome it. Okay. But I just don't know. I must have taken that comment wrong. I thought it seemed like you were asking for something. So I'm sorry. There's just so many scams in this space. So it's hard for me to tell what is and what is not. But I'm praying for you, buddy, if you're still on this call. We're all here for you. And I hope that you are doing well. Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, okay. 4 steps to developing persistence. Okay. That first step, that's the most important one, is having a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its achievement. Okay. And this is something that I'd struggled with for a long time because initially my definite purpose was to make money, was to get out of debt, right? I'm $120,000 worth of debt from college and grad school. And my burning desire was to get out of that. but that's not truly it's not uh, uh, a deep-hearted desire, right? It's more of like a superficial desire. I just want to get out of debt so I don't have to deal with it anymore, right? That's not the right way to go with it. There are much bigger things that can get you much more results simply by changing your purpose, changing your desire, changing your need to do something for others. And that's really where it comes down to, is finding a way to serve others with your talents. And if you're even if you're religious or not, the moral way, the right way to go through life is to give back to others, because the more you give back to others, the more you receive. And the more you are grateful for what you have, the more you tell the universe, you tell God, you tell whoever you believe in that you are ready to receive more things exactly like or even better than what you've already been grateful for or expressed gratitude for. And so having a definite purpose backed with a burning desire, that burning desire can't come from um, a selfish foundation. Okay. If you have a burning desire, it needs to be about something more than you. It needs to be something more than your family. It needs to be about something more than um, money, wealth, power. It's got to be about other people. Okay. Service is so key. And especially if you are doing something for somebody else, you're going to want to do it so much more. Right. Like, and that's, some people will say that's a bad thing to, do things for other people. Right. Like, especially like, when I was getting clean, people be like, no, you can't do it for other people. You can't do it for your girlfriend. You can't do it for your family. You need to do it for yourself because you want to do better for yourself. Right. That's the start. Okay. But you get to a point where you're doing enough for yourself. You're doing well. You're happy. You're growing. Your career is growing. Your personal development is growing. Your health and physical fitness is growing. And so once you get to that point, it needs to shift, right? You can't just expect to do everything for yourself and be a top leader in this world. Okay, it just doesn't happen. So we need to have a definite purpose that has a way to serve others. So for me, my definite purpose is I have a few. I want to open more ceramic studios, because the more research I do around ceramic studios is that there's a waiting list for every single one, for classes, for open studio spaces to rent on a monthly basis, positions and teachers, managers, owners, maintenance, even just the maintenance guy. Like there's need for, or there's no need for anything because they're filled up. Okay. And there's like the last studio I was in, there was a 4-year waiting list on ceramic studios, like artist studios. So extra spaces in that space that charge about $100 to $300 a month. Okay. A small 5x8 studio that costs $300 a month. Like, it's crazy. And so what I truly want to start doing is open studios for people in areas where there are extreme needs. So me being an artist, loving art, loving what it does for people's health, mental health, loving what it does for them when it comes to drug abuse, or just artists, because it's a hard field to get into. There are probably more struggling artists that have their master's degrees than most other people with their graduate degrees. And that's because it's just not a lucrative field, especially in America, where we don't have that extreme passion for arts like they do over East, right? It's very easy for us to get thrown under the bus and not really be valued as a credible degree, right? People go to, I have my master's degree and people still look at it like it's nothing, right? It's very hard for people to do stuff like that. So I want to help people that are struggling within the same field that I'm doing. So starting studios is one of them. Another one is to start alternative care for addiction for people that are succumb to addiction. And that's because I find a problem in the Americans, the American response to addiction, saying that going to AA or NA is the answer for everything, which I don't agree with whatsoever. I've never been to NA, I've never been to AA. I've been to maybe 2 sessions, and I found that all they want you to do is to accept the fact that you're an addict and then not find a way to get yourself out of that assumption, right? They assume they're addicts, they take it, and then they call themselves addicts every single time they go to a meeting for years. And I don't agree with that. And so I want to find an alternative care. I have ideas. I'm not going to go through them today simply because it would be a whole nother hour of talking about this information. But find something that you care about. That's the real thing. Like for me, I'm an artist and I'm somebody who has been addicted before. I'm not an addict, but I've been addicted before. And so I want to make sure that you guys understand that it doesn't matter what you do, you just got to have it relate to you in some way, something that you truly care about and something that you truly want to change out in the actual universe around your own reality. Okay. And so, number 1 is going to be finding a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its achievement / fulfillment. Yeah, thank you guys for helping out Cavish. I hope he figures it out. Service to others is service to self. Exactly. And that's another really important point, is that when you start to give back to others, like for me, like giving back to others is also kind of selfish, right? Because I feel so like if I were to go out and buy some random person a meal, I would get so much more out of that than going to the store and buying myself a meal, right? Like it's a selfish thing to give to other people. Like that might be an even better way to look at it. It might entice you to do it more. It's like, oh, if I give to this person, it's going to make me feel really good about myself. Like it's a terrible way to go at it, but if you need a reason to do things, like that's a great reason, especially if it means helping out someone else as opposed to helping yourself. Like it's not the best mentality, but it still gets you to do the right thing. And it helps you in the long run, because as soon as you start to do it, you get benefits from it. You do it some more, you get more benefits from it. You end up just enjoying giving back. And then that's how you start to change your mindset. And it's really that simple, to just do it for selfish reasons to begin with, get the habit going, do it long and consistently enough that it becomes a habit, and then you start to actually enjoy doing things for other people. Like it's crazy. Like even if it's going to church on a Sunday and giving $1, maybe it's just finding a soup kitchen and feeding people one night out of the week, right? It's simple things like that where it's like it makes you feel better about yourself, and then you can shift that into doing things for other people because you just enjoy doing things for other people. Easy stuff. Number 2, it's going to be a definite plan expressed in continuous action. Okay, and it's so much more than having a purpose, right? It's so much more than just knowing what you want to do. You got to take the action on a daily basis to make sure that these goals are actually achieved. Because without action, you don't get anything done. Like if you're going to get your license, you got your permit, right? You got to do 40 hours of driving inside of 6 months. If you don't do 40 hours worth of driving inside of 6 months, or even 10, 20, 30, you're going to get to your driving test and you're going to fail. And that's how it is with life. It really is. If you don't take the actions to consistently develop your skills that are related to the goal that you're trying to achieve, it doesn't happen. You're not prepared. It's like trying to try out for an NBA team and not having played basketball in 6 months. Like, it's just not going to work out. It's so important for us to understand that the daily action is so much more than having goals. If you have goals and you don't take action, they're dreams, they're fantasies. It's like wanting a dragon. It's not going to happen, right? It's just not going to happen. So we need to make sure that we understand that beyond having the goal, we need to have a plan to achieve the goal. And that's daily plans. That doesn't mean doing work today and tomorrow and then waiting a week to do more work. Okay? That means at least 5 days a week, putting at least an hour every single day into the thing that you want to do. And that's simple. That's something that even somebody that works 40 hours a week can still do. I don't work 40 hours a week, so I expect a little bit more from myself. But for people that do, you can block out 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You can block out an hour a day, 5 days a week. You can block out 6 hours on the weekend and not doing anything during the week, maybe just chart up during the week, right? The important thing is that showing up, that repetition, right? It's not so much about doing an hour every day. It's about showing up for yourself every single day. Having that plan means that you need to follow through on that plan. It means that you actually need to have the plan, tell yourself what you're gonna do, and be impeccable with your word so that you actually do the things that you say you're gonna do. The worst thing that you could possibly do for yourself is say that you're gonna do something and then not do it, because that lowers your confidence. It lowers your ability to be impeccable with your word. It lowers your ability to have the drive to do more, because you set yourself a goal, you failed, then you easily can look at yourself as a failure and then not continue through. And this goes also back to having a plan, yes, but having a plan that's doable, right? If I haven't traded in a year, I'm not going to want to sit down and trade for an hour every single day, 5 days a week. I'm going to start a little bit simpler. I'm going to start marking up 15 minutes a day for 5 days and see if my markups play out into profitable trades, right? It's about having a definite plan that is relative to your personal situation or the growth or the abilities that you have today. Okay, don't do too much. If you start a new habit, have the 2-minute rule where you set a timer for 2 minutes. Like, if you haven't read in a while, you read for 2 minutes, the timer goes off, then you're done reading. And do that for 7 days straight. And especially for having plans for new goals, is so important for us to understand to do things small in the beginning. We want to end our habits with enjoyment. We want to have the desire to continue. If I haven't read, like when I started reading after hating reading for so long, I could have read 100 pages in a day, but then I'd be like, this is the worst thing ever. I hate this. I don't want to do this, because I tried to read 100 pages, which probably takes me about 5 hours, right? If not more. And so it ends up being something that I end the task, and then my connotation to that habit is now negative. And that's the worst thing that you can do. So we want to leave these new habits, these new plans, any plans that we have, make them simple to start. Just show up for 7 days. And if you feel ready to add more, then go for it. And that was my key plan that worked out astronomically. And it's so cool. I love that I finally figured it out. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Go. It's they're definitely goals that I have strong passion behind, and I want to see your dragon. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And if you do have one, So I'm gonna find another dragon, have babies, and give me an egg because I want a dragon. Okay, I really do. So yeah, number 2 is have a definite plan and expressed in continuous action. Number 3, we got 2 more. This one and the next one, and then we'll be done. Number 3 is a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences. And this is including and mainly negative friends, family, and acquaintances. Because I know that a few of you at least live with other people that aren't in this space, and they're probably very negative. And especially when you bring this business up to other people, they immediately go, this light flickers in their head like, is it a scam? Is it a scam? Is it a scam? And then they allow that question to come into fact in their mind, and then they talk to you as if it's a scam. And then you start to question your reality of your own situation. And that's the most discouraging thing you could possibly have. It's not true. It's completely false, but you still believe it is true. So it affects your vibration. It affects your positivity. It affects your ability to see the positives in every situation in your day. And so it's important for us to understand that need to we need to question who we're listening to. Ask yourself anytime somebody gives you advice, who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? If you have a friend, let's say you're going for a fully funded trading account. You got a friend that works minimum wage at a corner store, right? You start telling him about all your plans, and he's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I grew up with you. You're not a banker. You have no idea how to work with money. You're not this Wall Street guy. What are you talking about trying to do all these things? You're like me. I can get you a job here. And then you start looking at yourself in a different way simply because of somebody that has nothing to do with your goals tells you that this is who you are. So who are you listening to? Right now, you're listening to somebody who works a minimum wage at a corner store. But the reality is, his opinion doesn't matter. What truly matters is the people that you listen to that have what you want, right? Don't be listening to people that have the things that you came out of. Don't listen to people that have the things that you don't want, that have less than what you desire, right? Listen to those people that truly have the things that you want. Like people like Ty, she's got the good information. People like Jim Rohn and all these other mentors that we listen to, Alex Morton, Bob Proctor, all of these people that have things that we desire, those are the people that we truly need to listen to. Take their advice and just filter out all the other crap, because all these negative suggestions, all these negative remarks to what we're trying to do, they come from people that don't understand the path that you're on. They've never been there. So why would they understand? So make sure we're closing off all that negativity. Yeah, Grant Cardone, he is a good one too. He's a real estate mogul, that one. It's crazy. Yeah, so make sure you're listening to the positive people and the people that have what you want. Yeah, real estate. See, I'm going to get the funded account. I'm going to start some businesses, and then I'll get into real estate. So I'm 10 years behind you right now, Ty, but that's okay. Okay, so close off all the negative people that don't have what you want. Okay, then the fourth and last step is, yeah, we are speeding it up like crazy. 1 day is becoming 2 days, 2 days becoming 3 days, or no, 3 days is becoming 1 day, 2 days is becoming 1 day, right? We're cutting everything down, taking 33% of the time that would take. So maybe it'll be 6 years instead of 10. Let's go. All right. So number 4 is going to be a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with your plan and purpose. And that's why we are so lucky, because we have all of us. We got Ty, we got Gogo, we got Kenneth. Who else is on the call? We got Cavish even. I don't even know who Cavish is, and he's with us. Let's go. We got all these people that are here that know what we want. Most of them want the same thing or something very similar. So we quickly are able to push each other to grow and grow and grow. And this is one of the big reasons why I want us, especially like the 4 or 5 of us on this call that are consistent. We show up every day. We go crazy. We're always the ones in the chat. We're always the ones posting charts. We're always the ones making profits. And that's only because we put in the work. But we need to find a way to get these guys, these other ladies and gentlemen, theys, theirs, whoever you want to call them, to show up and do more for themselves as well. And that's where our end of the friendly alliance comes into effect, right? We have other people that they're kind of like, some people are going to be your muse. They're going to be the ones that talk you up like, yo, you killed it. You're doing this, you're doing that. This is crazy. Heck yeah, let's go. Right? You got those people. But then you got the other people that are above you, that are saying similar things. They're like, yo, you're doing so much better than you were, this, that, and the third. Let's go. I can see how much growth you're getting. Keep going. Right. And then you got the other people that are below you, but they're quiet. Right. They're people that we need to build alliances with, because maybe we don't need them, but they need us. If they don't have people like us to help push them, be like, yo, like this is where I was a year ago. I was doing really well one day, and then I blow my account the next way. And then I do another, I'd maybe do a week of good trading, and then the next week it's all gone, right? I've been through there. I understand how that is. Let me help you get out of that hole. Let me help you figure out a way to level up in another way in your trading, because I've been there. I understand where you are, and I understand where you're going, and I am where you're going, or I'm at a point towards where you want to go, right? Maybe you want to go further than what I am, but let me help you get to where I am so that we can both grow to the next level, right? Alliances are not so much a selfish thing. It's not always about what you can get out of other people, but it's about what you can give back to those people, or to those people that need it. And so making sure that we have friendly alliances on both ends of the spectrum, people that have what we want, and then people trying to get what we already have. And that's where the true growth starts to become, because then you have the ability to educate the people that want what you have, and that refreshes what you have. All the information that you have currently, that starts to strengthen. It becomes twofold. It becomes to be a unconscious competence, right? You start to realize that you know this stuff without even having to think about it. And that's where teaching comes into effect. Teach people to get to where you are, and learn from people that have what you want, so that you can improve even more, and then educate those people that came to where you are currently, so that they can get to where you're trying to go as well. So friendly alliances go both ways. All right. And that's kind of what I have for you today. Let's see. Yeah, I got a few points as to why these steps are important, and I'll just kind of list through them, and then we'll be done for the day. All right. So thank you guys for sticking with me. These are just going to be the reasons why and what do they do for you. So why and what do these steps do for your growth? Okay. One, they are the steps by which you may control your economic destiny. So without these steps, you can't really have control as to where you're going. But if you have these steps, then you have a definite purpose, you got a plan, you're blocking out all the negativity, and you're bringing in all the people that have what you want, right? They are the steps that lead to freedom and independence of thought. That goes right back into number 3 because we're not going to listen to people that are negative and discouraging. We're going to have a purpose, have a plan, succeed in that plan, and then by the confidence that comes from that plan, we have the freedom and independence of thought. So we are free and clear minded because we have everything that we want, everything that we think, do, and have has turned into good. So now we know that we are confident enough to do exactly or whatever we want to do. They are the steps that lead to riches in small or great quantities. So, doing something you care about and then following through on it is a recipe for success because with the passion, people are going to believe you, they're going to back you, they're going to understand that you are here for them, for what you actually care about, and then you grow. They are the steps that lead to the way of power, fame, and worldly recognition. And that's only if you want it, right? Those are more things like if you're trying to be a politician or own a business or be a CEO or COO or to invent something, right? It's if you want power, fame, world recognition, you need to make sure that you have a purpose, follow that purpose, block out negativity, and meet and talk and work with people that have what you want. They are the steps that lead to favorable breaks. Favorable breaks. And that goes back to a definite plan expressed in continuous action. Favorable breaks only come from consistency. Because if you don't have consistency, if you don't have a daily routine, those days that go sideways, those days that kind of turn you over, they're going to destroy you. You're not going to want to do anything that entire day. But if you have continuous action every single day, having that simple habit of doing, showing up, and working every single day is going to come back into your subconscious voice where something bad happens, you want to do nothing, and then that habit kicks in, and it's like, yo, you do this every single day. You don't miss today because you don't miss any day. And then you continue on. And it's that simple. It's like if you do these steps every single day, you'll get favorable breaks simply because that intuition, that drive to continue is going to stop you from stopping. Okay. Easy, easy, easy stuff. Easy to do or easy to understand, easy to do, and easy not to do. So pick your choose, pick your poison. Pick the easy to do, not the easy not to do. Because one ends up in the hole and one ends up at the top of the mountain. You choose. Number 6 is going to be there the steps that convert dreams into physical realities, right? So if you have a definite purpose without a definite plan, they're just dreams. But if you have a definite purpose with a definite plan, you close out on the negativity, and then you have a nice alliance with people that have what you want. That's how you convert it into a physical reality. Having all 4 steps brings in the physical reality. With only number 1, with only a purpose and nothing else, it's a dream. It's a fantasy. It's not going to happen. It's like having a dragon. Gogo needs to prove to me that she has a dragon. or for this comment to be wrong. but but we're just playing right now. But yeah, so that's what you need. You need all 4 steps in order to convert dreams into physical realities. And then last, number 7 is going to be there are steps that lead also to the mastery of fear, discouragement, and indifference. And that goes back to a mind closed tightly against all negativity and discouraging influences. Because it's so easy to develop fear, discouragement, and indifference if we're constantly listening to other people. Okay. It took me a long time to I started cutting people out left and right. Anybody that told me I was doing something crazy, I stopped texting them. I stopped hanging out with them. I stopped going out with them. I stopped asking their advice, right? I stopped working at the job that I had that just constantly tore down my positivity because of how negative they were. They weren't even talking about my own situation. They were just constantly negative about their own lives. And I cut them out of my life simply because that negativity affected my positivity, and then everything else stopped. Because of that negativity, I let it overtake me. And so making sure that you are using these steps so that you can get over the fear of failure, the fear of judgment from other people, the fear of being placed in a box that is these people that don't know what they're doing because they're working online and they're trading and it seems like a scam. Stop listening to those people. They don't know what they're talking about. They're talking out of fear. It's their fear that says those things. It's their resentment towards you for what you're doing because they don't have the courage to do what you're doing. Right? All these people that say negative things about us, they don't know what they're talking about. And so it's important for us to understand that listening to others, we're being discouraged, we're being fearful, we're being indifferent. But if we look at what they're saying, unpack it, understand what they're saying, start to find the reality in what they're saying, and then separate ourselves from their reality, we're golden. We're golden. And then the goals roll in, the achievements come past, the funded accounts come, the success, the houses, the travel, the families, the significant others, all these amazing things come pouring into our life when we suck out all the fear, discouragement, and insecurities. All right, so that's what I have for today. I hope you guys got value from this call. Thank you guys for sticking around for so long. And I just love doing these calls because there are days like today where all I need to do is write down 4 things and then my mind goes crazy for an hour. And I can just give you guys the sauce that I already know. And that's really what I'm trying to do is just get people to a level to where I am, level them up, and then maybe they can teach me something. And I know most of you guys do teach me stuff. Like Ty's got the charts. Gogo's got the meditation, right? Kenneth's got the team calls and just getting us to think about, think about what's going on in our days. He's got the good questions, right? And everybody's got their value to provide. And I think mindset's mine. So I hope you guys got value. And I hope you have a great day. Have a fantastic weekend. I think we're going to be having meditation tomorrow at noon. So I'll see you guys all there. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. All right.